So South Africa take on Pakistan in the second match of their World Cup campaign, and we're looking forward to seeing South Africa women team in action once again because it's always fun to watch them play. And I think that's going to be excellent. I think we're going to have a lot of fun watching this game, hopefully. And we'll see what happens with regards to it because it's going to be very interesting to see how the two teams who have started completely differently to the start of this competition and how they're going to come up against each other. It's going to be an exciting World Cup clash, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you guys are too. I'll be previewing it today for you guys, and I hope you guys will be enjoying it. And we'll see how we get through it. I'll get to your comments as well later on in the show, in case you guys want to ask me any questions. But it will just be me today, and maybe a couple of guests will join us later on. We'll see what happens on this particular show. But you guys are with me again today. Teacher's not feeling that well, so please keep him in your thoughts and your prayers. He's not feeling too well. I hope he gets better very very soon and he can come join us once again. But if you are new to this channel and it's the first time you're tuning in, please click subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos as well. Don't forget to smash the like button. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and do all of those things too. I really would like you guys to comment and share and smash the like button. It really helps us in the algorithms on YouTube to get into recommended feeds. So please go ahead and do so. So we also have the latest issue of the magazine is available. It is the World Cup edition. It gives you some good insight into the Proteas women's team and their preparations to this World Cup. So the link is on the screen as well as in the description for that. You can also join our Patreon account. The link is on the screen as well as in the description if you want to become part of the Patreon family and become part of the Cricket Fanatics family. So I'm hoping you guys will enjoy being a part of our Patreon account as well. So without further ado, guys, let's get straight into today's video. I'm excited to preview this particular match between South Africa and Pakistan. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your preview show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the World Cup match between South Africa and Pakistan. We had to dedicate the show to this particular games. When we have the opportunity to fit it into the schedule, we need to make sure that we do it. So here I am, and we're going to be chatting about the women's game against Pakistan. So where do we start? Let's first start with the two teams and their campaign so far. So this is the ninth match of the ICC Women's World Cup. So in this tournament, and Pakistan will take on South Africa at the Bay Oval. So the Pakistan women have played two games so far, but they lost both games. They were hammered by the arch rivals India in their opening game, and they also failed to bounce back against the likes of Australia women team, who are obviously the T20 World Cup champions as well, and very, very dominant cricket team as well. They failed to do so. They were asked to bat first. And they failed to adapt to the conditions correctly. And they only managed 190 for 6 in their 50 overs. The bowlers tried their best to actually keep Australia at bay and stop them from getting off the line. But in the end, Australia won by 7 wickets. And it's now up to them to beat South Africa, who are very upbeat and very confident ahead of this clash after they smashed Bangladesh. They never batted really well. They only managed to bat to get 207 against Bangladesh. Also, not necessarily reading maybe the conditions as well as they would have hoped for. They also missed a big player in Lazar Lee. But it was the bowlers that won that game, and it's particularly Ayabonga Kaka who came through came through for the team and bowled excellently. They bowled the Bangladesh women out for 175 runs. So it was an excellent performance from South Africa. So we are sitting here with two different, completely different performances, two bad performances from Pakistan to start off with. I think two performances that I wouldn't be happy with, and then South Africa having a massive game against Bangladesh. Although it was the maiden tournament for Bangladesh women, they did put on a good fight, especially with the ball. When we're looking at this particular oval and the track and what I've read so far in previews and what I've heard so far from the locals, etc., is that the Bay Oval seems to be a balanced track. That there's something in it for the batters and there's something in it for the bowlers. It is a little bit slower, so the ball might just hold up a bit in the surface a bit, and the spinners might come into play, especially the slower to medium pacers will come into play in this particular strip. And we're going to have to wait and see how South Africa combats that. I'm pretty sure they would have learned from the first match that they played and the way they were tested on that particular match. So I hope that they will have learned from that and bring that into this game and can really take on the Pakistan team, because Pakistan's women's team, they are quite dangerous as well. They can bring heat to a game, to a match at any time, and we know that it's in the Pakistani DNA to come to the party when they need to. So generally speaking, they never ever give up. We have to look out for, obviously, from a Pakistan perspective, for their batters Bisma Maroof as well as Alia Riaz, who come off half centuries from their previous match, which helped them to get under 90 on the board. And we also have to look at the likes of Amaima Sohail. She picked up 2 wickets, but she couldn't really get into the Australian batting lineup. And at the end of the day, it was only 35 over match. But we have to look out for her, of course, for that particular game. There has been talk. It seems that Lazal Lee will be back from a South African point of view, so that might be a good thing. It will give South Africa a definite boost if that is the case. It will give them a massive boost from at the top of the order. It will be interesting to see who gets left out. It will most likely would be a straight swap for Tasmin Brits, even though I think her power hitting could be vital in this tournament going forward. But Lazali, we know how talented she is and how amazing of a batter she is. So hopefully she is fully fit for this game and she will play in this particular match. So far, we're really hoping to see her get some momentum into this tournament. When we look at South Africa and we look at Pakistan and we look at their head-to-head, the last 5 matches that they played each other, the last time they played was in 2016. Oh, sorry, it was in 2021, the 26th of Jan, 2021. So not too long ago. And South Africa won by 32 runs. They played a series then as well. South Africa won that series quite convincingly, ultimately. But SA Women won the first. They won a game by 3 runs, then they won by 13 runs, and then they won by 32 runs. That is the last 5 meetings playing each other. And then, of course, we know that they had a tied match in 2019, and then obviously they also played them, beating them by 8 wickets in 2019 too. So there were 2 matches over there as well that we can talk about if you're talking about the last 5. So South Africa are winners, have been winners in the last 5 matches against Pakistan. So that's going to be a good thing for them going into this particular match. They'll come in with confidence, of course, and hoping that they will be able to continue their form, South Africa, into this match. We're hoping that they can be devastating. If you look at the table currently, after 1 match played, they're sitting 4th on the table, South Africa, with 2 points. And Pakistan are currently sitting last, 2 matches, lost 2, as I said previously. So, yeah, going to be an interesting clash. Hoping that South Africa can really dominate this match, because we want South Africa to win every game, going with momentum, full strength momentum, with the mentality correct, building that mentality going into the tournament. For the rest of the tournament is going to be very, very important for South Africa's momentum, especially with England coming around the corner against them. That's going to be a difficult and tough one. So it would be good if they can get 2 wins on the bounce at the start of this tournament. It will be very important. I'm looking forward to if the wicket is going to be as slow as we would expect it to be, then I think Ayabunga Kako is definitely going to play a part again once again on this wicket. But I also think that the spinners are going to come into play. And even Chloe Tryon, I think as well. She's going to be dangerous on this pitch as well as Mlaba if she gets an opportunity to play as well. Um, and Masabata Class as well if she gets an opportunity to play again. So it depends who they play. And the medium pacers as well as the spinners, are they going to be a problem? And it's going to be essential. Opening partnerships are going to be essential. Scoring in the power play is going to be essential. Getting an early advantage is going to be essential on this particular wicket. So I'm hoping that they will be able to get that quick start as they'd hoped. Um, Nashra Sandhu is someone that we need to look out for, of course. She has 3 wickets in the tournament so far already. It is definitely someone that we're going to have to look out for when it comes to the Pakistan woman. She is very good with the ball in hand, so it's going to be an interesting one to see what she does and how she exploits the conditions, etc. She is a slow left arm orthodox bowler, so it is going to be interesting. If you look at her stats overall, she has a total of 57 wickets in 44 matches at an average of 27.96 and a BBM of 4.26, BBI of 426. So a very good bowler, and he's going to be tricky to for South Africa to face this. It's not going to be an easy feat when we play against them, especially her. I mean, she did well against India, getting 2 for 36, and as 1 for 30 against Australia woman. So someone that we definitely need to look at an option to score against when it comes to the Proteas woman. Let's talk about when it comes to Pakistan women. Sorry. So when it comes to the Proteas women, I just want to get a little bit into the batters, of course. We know Laura Wolfart's going to be dangerous, but Sunay Lewis, it will be good to see her continue her momentum in this competition so far. So it is going to be very, 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 very interesting. And I hope that South Africa do win this match. But to see someone like Sunay Lewis really get grow into this captaincy role for this World Cup is going to be key for her as a captain. Um, she will need to will hope that her team will come to the party and they can stay as a unit, because what I like about this Proteas women's team is that they very much look like a unit when they're bowling together. They as a team, they get team performances, and the first match that they played was heavily very much a team performance, a very impressive performance from the Proteas women. They showed real grit and determination. More kept their head, because defending 207 is not easy, and yet they did, and the bowlers kept their head, which is very, very important from that perspective, because you want your bowlers to be able to show that mentality to keep it cool, even though you're defending a lower total. I'm hoping, obviously, if South Africa bat first, I hope they put a massive total on the board. Um, so yeah, I mean, Sunay never necessarily played really well against Bangladesh from a personal perspective. She captained the bowlers very well, though, although that was in Dunedin. And she only got 25 and North for 12. But her form running into this tournament has been phenomenal. Against the West Indies woman, she has 46 and 2 for 25 in the, I think it was the second. Yes, it was the second against the ODI, second ODI against the West Indies woman. Then she got 56 in the next one, 47 and 0 for 24 on the one after that, and then 86 for and 1 for 34 in the following match against India in the warm-up. So that's very important that we see that happening, and that South Africa continue this momentum, that she continues her momentum as well, because we obviously want her to perform as best as possible. The senior players are obviously going to always play a role when it comes to these games, knockout games, World Cup games. So yeah, looking forward to that. It will be 3 a.m. in the morning, guys. So please, I hope you guys support the team as much as you can. Even if you just wake up and you watch the second half, that's also good enough. We need all the support we get. I'll be up watching and making sure that I keep up to date with what is going on in that particular match. We never know what's going to happen in that match. What way it's going to swing. Going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it, because South Africa's always been the women's team at least has been in and around challenging. Two semi-finals in the past and crashed out of it. So we're hoping that South Africa can really take things to the next level, and really win a tournament for once in a while, because it's something that we are hoping that they do. They could be the first team to win a senior World Cup for South Africa, which will be an excellent feat if they can achieve it. Bragging rights for the rest of their lives. Imagine that. They'll be go down as legends in the sport, particularly in South Africa and the world. So really looking forward to seeing what the Proteas women bring to the table, and especially on this wicket, which we know is going to be a little bit slower than what we expect according to the pitch reports, etc. But we'll have to wait and see, obviously, the morning. This is obviously predicted beforehand. Another thing is that the temperatures, it doesn't look like it's going to be very hot there. So 21 degrees, under 21 degrees, a little bit overcast. So the swing might come into play. And Pakistan and swing, you just assume that any of their bowlers will be able to bring out that skill at some point. So I'm just going to assume that and paint them with that generalization, because we know Pakistan, generally speaking, with the men's side especially, swing is their main baby. But we're going to have to, I think that power play is going to be very important for South Africa, of course. So we've got Aaron that's going to join us. I haven't seen him in a long time. Really good to catch up. Welcome to the show, brother. Good to see you. Good to see you smiling. Good to see you happy. Um, First and foremost, from the games that you have been able to see so far in this World Cup, how are you feeling? I mean, your team, they're quite all right, eh?
You just had to bring it up, didn't you? Yeah, the fact that we've lost 2 in 2. I've watched both of them as well. England, of course, wasn't the best of viewing, unfortunately. The fielding in particular has been really, really poor from England so far in this year's World Cup. But we're not here to talk about England, fortunately, because this is South Africa, Pakistan, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken. And of course, South Africa getting off to the perfect start to their campaign, winning 1 of 1. They're already in and around the hunt for those qualification spots. This is going to be a really interesting game, though, and a very interesting test for the momentum Proteas, because you mentioned the swing bowling, and in particular, Diana Baig. She is going to be an absolute nuisance with that new ball. It's going to be such a predicament for the likes of Lizelle Lee, Wolfhart. All of those South African top order batters are going to somehow have to try and negotiate that early on in the innings. But then also the spin attack. And it's something which is very much characterised in Pakistan cricket, and that's Nidar and Sandhu. Those two in tandem on what you said is a slower surface. We saw the other day Pakistan scored 190 on this same surface, if I'm not mistaken, in Mount Maunganui. It's going to be difficult to get those two, at quite a decent tick. So very much going to be a challenge for South Africa, but I do think that they've got enough firepower in the batting lineup to emerge victorious in this one.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the case, that they can come to the party. I think that Lizelle Lee would be back, so that will be a good boost for South Africa if that is the case. We'll have to wait and see if that, because anything can happen before a game, warm-ups, anything can happen. So especially if she's coming off, I think she was sick. I think she had COVID, or was she injured? I wasn't 100% sure. I can't remember. It's one of the there's so much things to keep up with, guys. So forgive me if I make a couple of mistakes. But ultimately, coming back into the side will be a massive boost for South Africa, because it will just create. Tasman Bridge looked a little bit nervous in the opening game. It's understandable for her. So
it is understandable.
It's a World Cup match. It's a World Cup match. It's understandable for her. I think she will grow in the tournament. If it would be awesome if they can find a place for both, because they're both very destructive batters. But when you look in that lineup and how talented that batting lineup is from South Africa, there's not a lot of players that you can look at to drop. It's very difficult to leave anybody out of that top 6, top 7, top 8 even, because they bat quite deep. But when I talk about South Africa, and I'm going to pick out, obviously Laura Wolfhart has been excellent, but I would like to see the way I like to see Mignon du Preez play on these particular wickets because she runs between the wickets, she finds those singles, she puts pressure on the opposition. So it will be interesting to see how she performs. But that opening partnership is going to be so vital for South Africa, no matter whether they're chasing or whether they're batting first. I think that's going to be the key. Is if Lizelle Lee and Lord of Wolfer can put pressure on the bowlers early on, it's going to be very difficult for them to come back from that perspective. But we can never, ever underestimate Pakistan, no matter what, whether it's the women's team or the men's team, because I think that this is something with regards to mentality that the Pakistanis have when it comes to tournaments. It's just phenomenal. Over the years, they've been excellent in that. Even though South Africa's last 5 games against Pakistan have been unbeaten, 4 wins and 1 draw in that time.
Well, you mentioned that, Khalid. Have you gone through the stats, the matchups between these two sides? Because I have. Okay, in World Cup tournaments, South Africa unbeaten against Pakistan. So that, first and foremost, a fantastic piece of history to go into this game with. You've got previous form. These two sides in this format have met each other on 24 occasions. South Africa have won 18 of them, and Pakistan have only won 4. So again, history would suggest that this is South Africa's game to lose. They are definitely heading into this as the favourites. And I mentioned earlier with Pakistan, they've got a fantastic bowling unit. But I think the real key differentiator between these two sides in terms of where they'll probably finish in the tournament will be the batting. If you look at the power with which the likes of Lee, Forfhart, Tryon, Mignon de Pree, just to name but a few, they've got so much power in that batting lineup in comparison to Pakistan, who've got some excellent players. Bisma Maru, for example, very, very talented cricketer, but she's more of a touch player. She's not someone who's going to single-handedly dispatch a bowling attack, and that's what I think will be the key differentiator between these two sides heading into this particular match.
You know, the toughest thing for most teams is when they do get a good start like this, and when they're facing a team that had a poor start, obviously 2 losses in their first 2 games now on this World Cup, it can be very dangerous to be complacent, especially against a team that you've been so comfortable against in the past, like you've mentioned. And I hope that South Africa can not, that they don't look at that record. I hope they come into this game thinking about this game alone and this opposition in front of them right now, playing to their strengths. We heard that Sunelu spoke about it before the tournament, saying that they're going to be focusing on their game. And if they focus on their game with the balance that they have in their squad, with the players that they have available to them, they've got such a great balance. I don't think there's a lot of weaknesses in the Proteas lineup, personally, if I look at their 11, even the bench strength. So with regards to that, I think if they come to the party and they play their own game, they will trouble most teams. It's going to be interesting to see because I feel that South Africa's in a nice little boat at the moment. Playing the first game, winning like they had, then they're playing Pakistan. If they win that, they go into the England match with a lot of confidence against a team that maybe hasn't really gotten off to the flyer when it comes to their.
It's been a poor start. It's been a very poor start. I don't think anybody
that scares me though,
this,
Aaron.
to be honest.
That scares me though, that it's been a poor start, because it's a perfect match for him to bounce back in.
True.
South Africa, you guys just tend to know that doesn't matter what format, you just guys tend to know how to beat South Africa or come to the party against South Africa.
Very true. In fact, Khalid, as well, because we are on the topic of South Africa, have we mentioned the seam attack? In particular, Ayabonga Kaka and Shabnim Ismail.
Yeah.
Those two on this surface are going to be absolutely vital, aren't they? With that extra degree of pace, they are going to cause all sorts of problems for Pakistan.
Yeah. Ayabonga Kaka, especially because of she doesn't have the same amount of pace as Shabnim Ismail. But she's such a smart bowler. I enjoy watching her play because you can watch her think on the field just by the deliveries that she's bowling. The way she sets up batters, unbelievable. So she's obviously always going to be a key match in every single match. It's almost unfair to say it. Her and Marazan Cup too, because I think Marazan's accuracy and consistency on this wicket too will really cause problems for Pakistan. And I'm hoping that she can come to the party and really be excellent like we know she can be. So looking forward to this match. I do think South Africa will win. I'm hoping that they will. And I'm obviously going to back my side 100%. I mean, I back them to go all the way to the final. Hopefully, they can do so. I really do hope that they can. And if they get to the final, whatever happens, happens. But I hope that they can take it up a notch. After two failed semifinals in the past, it would be nice for them to make a final. It will make us very proud as a nation because they'll be the first to do it, actually, get into an actual final of a senior event, guys, because I keep getting, whenever I say that it's the first time that South Africa has a possibility to win the first ever ICC trophy, then everybody wants to come in here with the under 19 trophy. And I'm like, guys, yes, under 19 trophy was excellent and it was amazing to see it, but I don't count it as a senior trophy. Of course, not a senior. It's not as big as obviously winning a major World Cup tournament, which England have done, which Australia have done, which other countries have done. So we're hoping that we can come into that bracket and get spoken about as well. Final thoughts from you, Adam. What are your final thoughts about this particular match?
Well, I think it's going to be a good game. I do think this is going to test South Africa as well. I really do. This is a completely different test in comparison to Bangladesh. Pakistan, on their day, that bowling attack are very, very dangerous. And as I said, it's about those openers. If Lee and Wolfhart can get the Proteas off to a solid start, get them that solid foundation for the remainder of that innings, if they can get a 220 plus score, I back them probably to defend that. To be honest, on this surface, with the likes of Kaka, Ismail and Cap, they've got an excellent bowling attack at their disposal as well. I think the key for Pakistan, and this is very, very cliche, but it is early wickets, it's early breakthroughs, and taking them at regular intervals to prevent that destructive South African batting lineup from really taking this game by the scruff of the neck. Because if they do start going 200 plus, this game, I'm going to be honest, probably will go out of their hands. Unless it will take something absolutely sensational, to be honest, from that Pakistani top to middle order to get a score that big. It'll take at least someone getting 50, if not two people getting 50. But at the same time, I do think that Pakistan's bowlers are going to keep them in this game. And that will be the real interesting bit. If South Africa win the toss and have a bat, for example, and Baig does get one of the big wickets up the top, it could just change the entire outlook of this game. So although I'm going to say South Africa win, and I do think they're favourites on paper, I do think they have a better balanced squad for the time being, do not discount Pakistan. And I'd completely agree with what you said there, Khalid. They cannot be complacent. Just because you've got these fantastic records. We mentioned unbeaten in the last 5. They've won 18 of 24 encounters and unbeaten in World Cups. As we all know, history is there to be broken. And that is going to be absolutely vital for Pakistan to have that kind of mentality if they are to win this game. So I'll go South Africa to beat Pakistan. But yeah, best of luck to both the teams, and hopefully as well England can salvage their World Cup campaign as well after 2 very, very disappointing games against Australia and the West Indies.
Yeah, and you can look at it. I mean, 6 games between this and the last game. So South Africa have had quite a long break, and that could also be. It can go either way. It can either be good for them to be refreshed, or that could have been in their head. We don't know. If I have to wait so long between games, I would be in my head over analyzing things, overthinking. So I hope they didn't do so. I hope they sat back, relaxed, just forgot about everything. Maybe watch some of the cricket. Watch the other teams play, and enjoy it. Try to enjoy that period off, because they're lucky to have had that break in between. Unlike, for example, between England. Between the 2 games, I think they had only 4 matches between the 2 games, playing against 2 very good teams as well. So it's not like, I don't think you should be too upset about it, because I mean,
it was more the manner in which they lost. It was the fielding, in particular against the West Indies. But I will say, right, England can still get back into this. Yeah. And I have to mention as well the West Indies, because they've been incredible, haven't they? The giant slayers of this year's competition, Shadeen Nation. She was brilliant. Hayley Matthews is outstanding, and Deandra Dottin just seems to be appearing in the clutch when a team needs it the most. It's been a remarkable campaign for the women in maroon, but hopefully for the 3 Lions, we can get back into this competition as well. And who knows, in that South Africa game, we'll have to wait and see what will happen.
Yeah. Hopefully South Africa can win and get a nice, good lead. Head start until we come with full-on confidence against England. Hopefully that happens. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell for all future videos. We are coming to you a little bit earlier because I have a very important birthday to go to, so that's why I came a little bit earlier than usual. So I'm sorry that I had to do that to you guys, but we did bring you the preview. Please subscribe and click that notification bell for all future videos. We will have a much longer show tomorrow, of course. A Q&A session with myself, and you guys can ask any questions that you want, and have some fun with us on the show. We're just going to have fun and talk. We also got a very important interview the morning for the next issue of the magazine, which I'm nervous about. But yeah, we're looking forward to that too. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly, please. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every single month. The link is on the screen and the description. The front cover is soon loose. It is the World Cup Women's Edition. You can get into the mindset of the Proteas women and how they prepared for this particular tournament, and we get some insight from the coach as well. So please go ahead and check it out. It's still relevant, seeing that the World Cup has started now. It's even more relevant now while the World Cup is on. So get involved with that. There's also a Patreon you can become a part of. Please click on the link on the screen or in the description and become a part of the family and help us keep everything alive here, guys, and improve and get better. As if you become part of the Patreon family, that's how you help us, because we are 100% bootstrapped, and that really helps us keep things afloat and helps us improve and move forward. Aaron, thanks a lot for coming on the show at such short notice.
My pleasure
for joining me, and I hope that you come on again very soon. We always love talking to you, and we always love talking to you, and I hope to see you very soon. And to the guys out there, enjoy the rest of your evening, enjoy the match. We'll see you guys again tomorrow with another daily show. Take care.